Hey there, I'm Shea. I am really excited to share some advice and tips on how to start your passion project. I have a couple of notes just so that I can remember everything that I want to tell you. I'm going to assume that you've already found your passion and you're just trying to figure out a way to get started, what your next steps are. Just a little bit of background, I'm an illustrator and a graphic designer. My passion project is Designed by Shea, where I create and sell art that I love and care about. It's really important to me to have my own style and my own unique voice that I can share with others, and I think you might be feeling the same way. And I think that concept of sharing creativity and your own unique voice can apply to any form of creativity, whether it's art, music, cooking, writing, what have you. Step one, it's pretty obvious, but you probably need to hear it, is that you just need to get started. I know that this is a super precious project probably to you, and it's all in your head and you want to get it as perfect as you can before you share it with the world, but it's never going to be perfect. You just need to start somewhere. Start with baby steps. As an example, like 5 years after I started Designed by Shea, I finally figured out my logo and my brand standards. And I knew at the beginning that was something that I needed to do, but it just never felt like the right time. And over that 5 years time, I figured out what my brand voice is, what my audience is. So when it actually came to physically making the brand and like the design, color palette, everything, I just already knew what it was and it was so easy. So just let it grow and evolve organically, but really just start somewhere. Baby steps are okay. A great way to start sharing what you're doing is to use social media, because nobody is going to know what you're doing unless you share about it. I think you should use the network that you already have. I started using my personal Instagram to start posting art and sharing it. And yeah, some people were like, this isn't why I was following you, but most people, my friends and family, kept following and they would share things. Using word of mouth and using the small network that you already have is super powerful. It's just a really good way to start growing your audience. Speaking of which, don't worry about the number of followers that you have or the number of likes that you have. For me, those numbers don't matter. I think what matters most is that you can engage with your audience, you can engage with your followers, so you can reply to every comment thoughtfully, positively, make sure that you're sharing information that is clear. But I personally would rather have a smaller following of people who really care about what I'm doing and who I can actually engage with in conversation versus having it being diluted with a really large audience. And you can use things like Instagram stories or polls to sort of gauge people's interest. What kind of products are they wanting from you? They can vote on different things, and it's a good way to sort of dial in what your client and customer will want. Another thing is, if you're trying to get ideas on marketing, business, or strategy, study what other people in your sphere are doing and try and learn their tricks. Better yet, just reach out to them and ask if they're willing to give some advice. Chances are that they will be. Most people are very flattered when you reach out and are game to help, like case in point. A nice thing to do might be to offer to take them out for lunch or coffee, post-COVID vibes, of course, or to even just offer to pay them for their time, the time that they're taking out of their busy schedule to sit down and consult with you. But really just asking the people who you admire is a great way to learn some new ideas. As far as selling whatever product that you might be making, I would say creating an online shop rather than a brick and mortar is going to give you a lot more wiggle room to really play and experiment and figure out what your clients want. I would definitely recommend using an Etsy shop. The reason is that they make it easy to get it set up. They help your shop reach other people using tags, marketing, advertising. I use social media to bring a lot of people to my shop too, but Etsy does a lot for you. And I think the biggest thing of all is the type of shopper who is shopping on Etsy generally wants to support small shops like mine. So you're gonna start building up a loyal client base, which I think is great. The next thing you might be asking is, should I quit my job? And you could. I actually did. That was 5 years ago. I was having a quarter life crisis and I just needed to quit my job and like figure myself out. There were some perks to that, but there were also a lot of pitfalls. The biggest perk is that I had, the freedom and flexibility of schedule to really kind of grow and explore and figure out what I wanted to do, figure out my art style, all of that stuff. But the pitfalls were I did not have a consistent source of income, and I have found that my creativity does not thrive when I am financially stressed. I also had a really hard time managing my schedule. I'm not naturally great at creating structure, so I would just honestly find myself working as soon as I woke up, and then I would just go back to sleep. I just spent too much time working. I also was working from home, so I started getting really isolated. So these are just things to keep in mind. If you were considering quitting your job, there are definitely some negatives that can come with it. And I hope you could learn from some of the things that I experienced and avoid those things. But honestly, I would recommend keeping your job. And I would just make sure to consistently set up time to pursue this passion project. Ideally, before you start your day job, maybe you could set an hour aside in the morning every day or every other day to devote to this passion project. Use those fresh creative juices in the morning rather than getting home when you're super tired and you just want to watch TV and the motivation is low. Just make sure that the time that you set aside is a good time for when you're feeling fresh. Lastly, yes, most importantly, I think, is make what you want to make and keep this fun. Remember why you started this passion project. It was to do something that you care about. So as soon as you start just only trying to cater to what other people want you to make, it's just going to start to feel like a chore. So of course, you want to cater to your clients, but you want to ultimately stay true to yourself and be authentic. People can tell if you're not being authentic. So just don't forget why you started this project and why you fell in love with this project, because it's called a passion project for a reason. Anyhow, I know this has been a bit rambly, but I hope it's been helpful for you, and it was a little bit broad. Let me know in the comments if you have any specific questions, but if you needed a cheerleader to tell you that you can start your passion project, I'm happy to be that cheerleader for you. You really can do it. Truly just take some baby steps, and it's not going to be perfect. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of consistency and a lot of hard work. But at the end of the day, it's so fun to be doing work that you feel passionate about, and it's really fulfilling. And I think you can do this, and I'm here for you. All that to say, thank you for watching. If you want to follow my art journey, you can do that on Instagram. You can shop my art prints on Etsy, and you can also subscribe and watch more of YouTube videos if you want to do that. So you got this. Have a great one.